New tools, new job. In today's video, we're going to be fitting this. This is cornice or coving. This is cheap coving made from plastic. I will explain how I come to have coving on the walls around me, even though we're only set out to mark out while I mix another batch of drywall adhesive. So I've already put water in the bucket, and all we're going to do is put a couple of 3 spoonfuls or scoopfuls into this bucket and mix it around to get it a nice consistency, pliable. This was a rake that I bought for SCREWFIX. I ground 3 bars off each side so that it fits into the bucket so I can mix it. Kind of like ice cream. That is probably a wee bit thick, but that'll do for now. Using clean water to slow down the drying process. What I'm actually going to do before we get into this, I'm going to quickly explain how I got started yesterday. Picture, what do I say? So picture this here is the ceiling. This is the wall. This is still the coving, yeah. I wanted to get it sitting like that, yeah. But I wanted it to be 50% on the wall, 50% on the ceiling. So yesterday morning, I played about with it a wee bit. It's 85mm each way for this stuff, right? Cut all the waffling. I then proceeded to mark around 85mm down the wall because that's my straight edge, regardless of what the ceiling's doing. And I wanted to mark across so that whenever I was going to make a YouTube video the next day, I wanted to be able to just knock it out and it looked more fluent instead of me standing scratching my head trying to do all. So, with that said, this is what I've done. I went round and I marked a line. If you see it all smeared, I actually put SBR on it. I'll explain more about that in a minute. And I numbered it H2, H1, H3. And I also marked the coving. Look, H4. See the arrow? If you notice, the miter is going this way and it's going the same way another way because this is an internal wall, this is an external wall. Internal goes into the wall, external goes out from the out to the ceiling. Now I was trying to marry up 2 different pieces, bringing them together to make a joint, and it didn't sit right with me, and I couldn't figure it out, and I was questioning this cheap ass stuff that I had got out of SCREWFIX, which I had ordered whenever I ordered the coving because I didn't know where to get the miter, and I refused it, £3. I then later had to drive 12 miles to go to get it because nowhere else sold it. There's a kind of, how do I explain it? The whole, I can't do it, because that's not right either. I'll just show you. I'll just start doing this and you can watch what I'm at. Tell me if I'm doing it right or not. So what we're trying to do is create suction to make it stick to the wall to the point that it gets a chance to set, because I don't want it to be sliding about. So I'm doing that by this, and then holding this, I push it in like this, and I'm not moving the trowel, I'm moving the coving. A mixture of both, okay, enough. The idea is to get a nice smear right up it, so that whenever I go to the wall, there shouldn't be any gaps. Now I know that the arrow is pointing upward, right? So it needs to go that way, which means we have an external corner and an internal corner, and we're going to put that up like so, and then stick it up like so, Now we're going to do the ho 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 ho, and we're going to push it down and get it even. Now I'm going to try and get you an angle. Line, push it down to it. Triangle. And then we strip off the excess. So that's the plan anyway. Now, whatever you call it, Supercove, the pack I bought comes with adhesive, like a thing you put in I don't know, it's called silicone gun, the squeegee thing. It's in a tube, but there was something like 4 tubes per pack, and I was like, no way is that going to do the pick right around for me. So I bought drywall adhesive, which you see me mix up, this stuff here. And if the whole idea is that if the wall isn't even, it doesn't really matter because it's going to stick. Just scrape off the excess. Waste. It's 3. Oh, that's squared that in. So I should have done the corner first. I have a corner somewhere for over there. Oh well. It's up now. Actually, what I hadn't thought about, because I'm videoing, yeah, I need to keep this back because we're putting an end on it. So I need to push this back now. Now we will clean off the excess. If there is a few gaps left over, the fact that I didn't use the adhesive that come with it, I can put it into whatever you call that gun, and I can apply it. Oh, I know now why I didn't put this line across here. It's because the distance is less than 2 meters or 6 feet. 6 feet. What height is that? There's a good example. I'll show you now what I mean. So, I can't talk because I'm eating camera, but as you can see here, look. And to prove it, look, 85. Look here, 85. 85. So this ceiling comes down because this line's below that line, but with the straight edge, it doesn't matter. Just remember, it doesn't matter how the lines go on the wall, it's all how you perceive it when it's on the wall, or how it looks. It has to look right, visually pleasing to the eye. Now, do I sound like I know what I'm talking about? Because before yesterday, I had never used Coving, but like so many other things, it's all about how you attack it. And if you have a half a notion of how to, like for me for instance, I'm confident that if I seen somebody doing something, I could take a fair whack at it. And that has stood by me my entire life. Where I struggle is reading. It's all about being methodical and planning it and just having confidence in yourself, if you ask me. Set yourself up for success by believing in yourself. Do you know how many times I have been told that I can't do something? And it's always been by someone that that has been closest, yeah, do it anyway. The point is, they love you and they're trying to protect you, and focus, page. They don't want you to fail, so they don't want you to do anything. Bloody well do it. I tell you to do it anyway. Go for it. What do you got to lose? No regrets. Oh, and the foot's getting better. We're about a week today into it, actually. Today is Wednesday, the 8th of September. 2 weeks to my birthday. It's the 23rd. Yes, lad. Big old 43. This is the last piece I've actually pre-cut. All the rest has to be cut, so I'll show you how I do a few cuts. If you want. Just because we're here already, we'll just give us a bit of a clean now. Wet sponge, without putting any pressure on the coving because you don't want to move it. Tidy it up for the next man. That would be the painter, something that I will definitely not be touching. I'm going to tackle plastering it myself, learn another new trade, and in doing so I started looking into how to waterproof it. SBR, PVA, waterproofing agent, blah blah blah. So then I was in a builder's yard and I was talking to one of the guys in there, and he says PVA, everybody buys it because it's cheaper, it's not the right stuff. And I says, I've watched the video and SBR seems to be the stuff, and your man Kirk sells it, and he says SBR is the right stuff for waterproofing. It's a superior product. So I says, well, why is people using PVA glue? And he says PVA glue is children's glue. Then the penny dropped. It's so I have SBR. Now, why am I using SBR around these walls? Because there's paint on it. It's a high suction background. By putting that on it, it separates the dry wall to the wet plaster, and it allows it time to solidify itself instead of it sucking the moisture out and then it going host effectively and falling off. Now, I was talking to a plasterer that grew up beside me yesterday. I didn't know he was a plasterer until yesterday. That's the best of it. Sheridan, you are the dude. He was telling me that if you wet the wall, it takes the suction out of it. Now, I already knew that if you rinse down the wall with a hose before you plaster outside, I already knew that it took the suction out, because we'd have done that whenever I had been helping boys back in the day. But he says if you do it inside, it still does it. But SBR is a whole lot cleaner, and I have it. So I'm going to use it. Yeah. So, Coving goes in this wall. We're going to go, this is the door side. We're going to put an internal cut, which is low side to the wall. Before we start, this says ceiling. So you put it on like that. Now, before we start, you need once you do this, once you mark it, this is always going to be the ceiling, because I couldn't get it to measure up, so I would doubt that you will, because I'm some worker. I bought a fine tooth handsaw and I went dink dink dink. Nah, that's not going to work. So I brought out old Betsy. All we're doing is cutting a blank out at the start. So, and that's the same as if you're doing the middle, because this allows the saw now to move. We need to get a 45. We didn't mark this either, but I know that we're going that way. So we need to get the 45 going that way. You just start here. It always looks harder whenever it always is harder when you've got someone watching you. We'll just say that for nothing. I'm trying to get the angle for you. So, with that said, all we're doing is come up here and allow it to skim in. The edge of the tile cutter will melt it or slice into it. Do that. And then follow it up with a bit of this. Now what I'm doing is just trying to get the cardboard off. This is the leading edge, so have it facing inward, because if it's sticking outward, that would be a real nightmare. Not for me, for the painter. Yesterday for me was Monday, and I started off, I had to go till school runs, 9 o'clock, and then Arlo is now primary 1, so he's only in to 12 o'clock at the minute. So I had 3 hours from he was dropped off till he was going in the gate till he was going back out the gate. So I come down without using the camera and started to mark this out so that today it would be easier to show you how I do it. Now, he came out at 12 o'clock, I had the hall marked out, we then went to Granny's and got tea and hung about for a wee bit, went and picked the other 2 up at 3 p.m. So whenever we come home, it was about 3 in the afternoon, and Ivor started to look over his homework because, like I say, I'm not doing the English with him no more because I struggle to even ask him the questions, his spellings, and so that was made clear before this year started that I'll not be doing it. If he has any maths, is no problem to me, because I like counting money. Who doesn't? But so it was about 4:15, and I started dinner for the boys. They all wanted pasta, which was handy enough for me. I put it into the saucepan, switched it on, and come up with the idea that whenever that sofa was out, I would put a wee bit of Coving onto the wall, and when I put the seat back in, I wouldn't have to move it again. 2 hours later, the kitchen was looking the way it's looking now. You have to get these corners on point, or it's going to look like an amateur did it, not a professional. Yesterday went a whole lot more smoother whenever YouTube wasn't on, but I love making YouTube for videos, so I just now have to get used, keep not doing it right. One and a half. So we'll go 1.9 meters. And that should lie a bit for the joint either side. So we're marking them off. We'll mark that as the ceiling too. And I'm going to put this one upside down, because it you only determine the top whenever you use the miter. have to not put a pile of thought into it because you'll do it wrong. So there's the up arrow, and without turning it, it's going down. Hang on. This is our brave wee stretch. You could get very messy very quickly doing this sort of crack. It fits. It fits. The important thing, doesn't matter about the length of this bit, just get it lined up on with this one and that one. And you will never see it whenever you're walking in. You're probably more focused on tea if you were coming into this house. Anyway, we're getting tea. So that's it now. Leaving a nice gap either side to get the filler in and get it smoothed off. Right guys, the ceiling must be higher at this point here and it's making the coving droop. So we're going to fix it with a screw because it has to be married up with this one or it's going to look a bit shit. So only have one screw, so let's hope we don't miss it. There we go. Well, that just went in lovely. That much plus the width of the blade means you don't have to think about this one, she will fit. Actually, she mightn't fit. Ah, there she goes. She fits. Right, this small piece here is going to go up here. Now, I made it too big just to give me a bit of body to get it done, but that'll sit on there and then it'll finish that corner off. This is, we have to half that width there. I didn't, oh look at that, sweet. Now I didn't record that bit because it was very close to the fingers. I wouldn't want to add out the blood bit. So that looks good. Let's get it bonded up. And to think yesterday I was told over a cup of tea to hire a professional. Right guys, we made it, we had come up a wee bit short with this and we're going to do a bit of carving to get it back into the shape. Now, this was 1.5 meters inside to inside because it's an external corner. The full length is 2 meters. I don't want to use another full length and I put it up. I had to let it dry, so it's now later on this afternoon and I'm going to attempt to build this corner up. Wee bit of technical work. It has to match with the line. Now I went ahead, this is just the start. Whenever that starts to dry off, I'll carve it out and get this corner squared till a point so that we're working off here and straight up to there. That's the idea. Watch, where do we see? Look at that line, right down to there. Whenever I wasn't filming earlier, I also took this adhesive that come with it, decor grip. So I went round and I put filler inside the joints. Now I spoke with the painter and I told him what I was going to do and I was going to leave it an indentation where he can come along and do his thing, bring it out to the surface, prep it all off and put the paint on. That's what I would want to happen if I was going to be the last guy touching it, I would want to put the finesse touch on. This corner looks well. All we did was cut a small piece and just closed it off. This section here, there's a bit of work had to be done. Off camera, it actually, this feathered down to the very small edge. I dropped it and broke it. So what I did was, I made the shape of the cornice, and using this with the bit that's dirty, the bit that I had up there was going down like this. I've packed this up with drywall adhesive, let it sit for an hour and a half or so, and then put the wee pointing trowel in, scraped it off, done away with that, and then carved it to make it look like that. Could probably do a wee bit more finessing, but we had to tread carefully because that bit followed by that bit, and then that bit was the last 3 pieces to be worked. So the adhesive, it hasn't dried out, so I'm just treading carefully. That one there is looking sweet, the one right there is looking almost, and that one there, as you know, we're working on it. So with all that said, thanks for watching, see you in the field. Hope you enjoyed this video. Was it a bit like a tutorial? Did I look like a professional? I don't know. Guys, thanks for watching. Say bye.